Hi, welcome in. Hello. I'm just sharing the live out with a few people. We're going to get started here in a sec with my sister, Ashley Dreamstar Oracle, talking about spiritual awakenings and stuff. How is everybody? We're going to be talking about personal experiences, downloads, stuff like that. We'll always be taking. Well, that was weird. Taking questions if y'all have any. There she is. Hey,
Hello.
how are you? I was
I'm
just sharing
good.
the live out with a few people. Hold on one second. Let me
Yes,
turn
I
up the
did
volume. There we go. Yeah, I was just sharing it. Hey, Missy. How are you? Thanks for coming in.
I know.
Yep. That's probably good.
The volume okay?
Yeah, is mine good?
Can you? Yours is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I was just lighting an incense just to set the mood.
Yes.
So how are you?
Good. I'm doing good. Yeah, it has been a long day. I mean, this all started, I'm not a morning person. This all started for me at like 6:45. And yeah, but I'm here. I'm good.
Yeah, my son woke me up at 5:45. I was like, "What?" Yeah. I was not happy. But hi Daniel. Hey Ginger. How are y'all? Um I was not excited, but I did get a nap after the live call with Cub. So, thank goodness cuz I'm a nap person on the weekends, especially. I need a little 1 hour in there somewhere. If my son's waking me up at the ass crack of dawn. But,
I
anyways,
take naps. Coffee.
hey
Naps.
Opal,
It's
hey
horrible.
Pixie.
Naps for me are not good. I sleep like the dead, and so if I can only do that for a half hour, not good to, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I can get a little power nap in. Hey, how are you? Um, so tonight we're going to be talking about spiritual awakenings and like I want to share like my personal experience, and then we'll have Ashley share hers. And just if y'all have any questions, let us know in the chat. But basically, like this started. It was like a whole process for me, and I'm sure you like. I talked to a lot of people that had similar experiences with. Hold on one second. I'm kind of warm. Being on the conspirial side, conspiracy theorist kind of, and leading into the spirituality because of like you find out it's like a spiritual warfare, going on behind all the conspiracies. So that's kind of where mine started. How about you?
Um, yeah, I guess mine started in a conspiracy land too. But that was back in like 2012. I think
Oh
it went
wow.
from, yeah, I think it went from realizing that history was distorted, then realizing that politics were distorted, then realizing that Hollywood was, and eventually I got to the church.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Mine was probably politics than Hollywood. Yeah. I didn't really the history thing came later, I guess. Yeah.
It's
That
like
came with the spirituality, I think.
the conspiracy trinity theory, like Hollywood politics.
Yeah. How funny. But yeah, so and mine was way later. Mine was with COVID. That was what triggered mine. And I think that triggered a lot of people's because we were like, forced to stay home and just, looking into, all the things around that and that. So it got, us searching. And so that's how I came across the spiritual side of it. And then um, I was, oh, thank you. Thank you for the heart me, Opal. I was researching and found out about the Yahweh thing of the Old Testament, that was like one of the first downloads I got when after I awakened. Yeah. So if y'all aren't familiar, we can go into that a little bit here. But basically, the Yahweh of the Old Testament and and the Father that Jesus spoke of are very much two different entities. So I don't know. Ashley, do you want to say a little bit about what your thoughts are on that?
Sure,
Kind of
yeah.
bounce back and forth.
I'm in complete agreement with you. As you know, we have a lot of conversations about these topics. But that was actually a big one for me. I had already left the church in 2012, and the reason I did that was because of I grew up in the church. I was homeschooled, very staunch, fundamental upbringing. And
Mhm.
as I got older and I was in college, kind of exploring the world, I had a brush with death, and so I kind of went back to being religious again, going to church, and kind of got kind of sucked back in because of my fear of death. And then I couldn't do it. I couldn't stay there. I could. My questions were never answered by the leaders or the
Right.
pastors. You know, if I would
Right.
question things like Easter, or I'd question things like, how is this characteristic of an all-loving God? How is he an eternal God if he had that never changes? If he has remorse after the flood? I had these questions, and no
Mm.
one could answer them. And so I kind of just I left the church, and I had my kids, kind of did the nuclear family life for a while, and then it was 2020 where I left my ex-husband, and that freed me up to actually do the deep dives I wanted to do because I wasn't so distracted with him
Mm.
full time. And so
Gotcha.
one of the first things I did, I was already practicing witchcraft, studying astrology, getting into all the ancient mythologies and civilizations. And then I stumbled upon Josh from Sons of God Ministries. I watched his 11-part series on the God of the Old Testament, and I grief cried. And I realized this is why I'd been questioning, because the indoctrination and the hate that's spewed is from that's from a biblical standpoint all has a tie back to this figure of the Bible and not Jesus. And so then I was able to reconcile, wow, Jesus' message is fantastic and fulfilling, and the other message that people perpetuate is not.
Yep. Yeah, and like I actually found Josh later. I found somebody on BitChute. It was Bob something with a C, and he had a whole series on Yahweh is the not the one true Father. So somebody asked Wiccan. No, I don't like label myself as any type of. Hey Frank, thank you. Particular. I think that's like a coven or whatever, Wiccan, or is that just a type of witch craft?
It's a religion.
Oh,
I don't Yeah, I don't subscribe to any religion whatsoever. So what I mean by witchcraft is practicing old ways of my people,
right.
and I'm not in any organization. But if you are a Wiccan, that's all good. It's an organized way to practice witchcraft in the modern setting.
Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I don't claim any religion either. I'm a devotee of Jesus Christ, and He's my ascended master. Um, and I believe in the Trinity being the Father, Mother, and Christ child. And yeah, so I don't really. I'm an omnist. If anything, I find truth in all religions. So I think that they all have a piece of the puzzle, and it's kind of been scattered like the Tower of Babel, you know,
Thank you for
across the
sharing.
nations or across the religions. Thank you, Jules. Thank you for the roses. And thank
Omnism, yeah, that's the closest. I would think for me too would be
yeah.
omnism. But I don't
Mhm.
do that. I don't do labels. If people meet me, they're like, "How can you be a Christian witch?" I'm like, "Technically, I'm neither." You know.
Yeah. I've heard that term too, a Christian witch. I like that. I mean, even though I don't claim Christianity, it's the closest thing to what I would say. It's like a spiritual witch or something. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Like
don't like hmm?
A Gnostic witch, a
Gnostic
Gnostic.
witch. Yeah, I like that. I like that. So, oh yeah, so I found that guy And so that was uh, one of the big revelations I had. And then I had the 70 AD revelation that everything was fulfilled in the Bible in 66 to 70 AD. Like the book of Revelation is all, yes, it's being geoengineered now to make it look like we're going through the end times, but the end times were the end of that old age covenant. And now we're in an eternal covenant. So there is no end. So that was a huge, like, because all the fear around that, and it was just a huge relief to know that the second coming of Christ is within us, the kingdom is within. So that's how I see this. Opal says, yes, 100. Yeah. So those two things. And after I had those two revelations, then I was laying on my couch one morning and I felt just like a peace come over me, and I opened my eyes and there's a huge bright iridescent, like all different colors of, thank you for the roses, of lights like beaming out of my heart, like just and it was so real, like I wasn't dreaming, I saw it, and I can't explain what it was, but I just had an overwhelming sense of peace. I think it was the Holy Spirit showing me that she was with me and she's in my heart. But like I said, it was just like a warm, fuzzy, like, I don't know. After that, I thought, I need to get baptized and all this stuff. And, people say like, oh, when you're baptized, it's like, I didn't feel that same connection, and that I didn't really feel anything when I was baptized. I felt like it was kind of pointless. I was like, that was like not what I expected. I was like, it was so much cooler when I had the experience and I felt baptized by the fire, they say, like by the Holy Spirit, than when I was did the man-made ritual of I say man-made. Jesus did baptize, but I don't know. To me, the water ritual wasn't the same. That's a spark of consciousness going through the heart portal. That's what Opal said. It was beautiful. Yeah, definitely Christ consciousness.
The water, too, I had this this tussle with my former mother-in-law because she wanted me to baptize my children in the Catholic Church. Well, there's
Yeah.
a couple problems with that is I was never Catholic. That's just my ex-husband's. It's their
Mm-hmm.
family religion, but like they don't even really practice it. It's like a maybe Easter thing. But she really wanted me to baptize the kids, and I told her, I I don't even mind if we did this kind of thing in a Catholic setting because I'm not in a religion.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it's a little bit. It's not for me sprinkling water on babies' heads and think that somehow I decided their place in heaven
Right.
because of that decision. It just never made any sense to me. So I've never been baptized by water unless it happened to me as a baby, but nobody has told me, and I didn't have the little baptism dress. But yeah, I never have. But I had a similar experience to you with the fire. I was
Mm-hmm.
a teenager when this happened. And it was right after my little brother was miraculously really kind of healed from leukemia when he was 3. And us little kids, his siblings, prayed day and night, and he had a miraculous recovery. But it was in one of those deep meditation sessions. I didn't even know what I was doing at 14 when I had that similar experience, like that beam that came out. And one of the things that I always thought was weird is that when I was a kid, speaking in tongues was practiced where we grew up, right, and where we went to church. And I was able to speak in tongues. And even after I left the church, I'm able to speak in tongues. So if that is like a symptom of the Holy Spirit, apparently me not going to church doesn't affect that.
Yeah, no, for sure. My light language, which is what I call speaking in tongues, it just activated this past year. So, and I haven't been to church in over that amount of time. So, um, but like I said, when I first had my awakening, I thought I was supposed to go to church, get baptized, do all the things. And I didn't feel that connection there that I felt when I was doing my own studies at home. And like, I actually, my pastor was my best friend growing up in high school. And so I actually sat him down and like told him what I had experienced and my revelations and all this stuff. And like, I don't know, I don't see how after everything I've shown him, I've sent him videos. I've said, unless he just ignored the stuff and didn't watch it, how he cannot know the truth and how he can still, and he even meditates, which is
Really?
kind of wild. But, he's a younger past. Well, I guess we're not that young anymore, but you know what I'm saying. Like, he's more hip to that kind of stuff. I feel like he's gotten the downloads and he's just, doesn't want to lose his congregation or something, which is sad. But, that's what happens when they start preaching that it's fulfilled and that, hey, Mama Bear, how are you? Somebody on Joshua's live was saying that he lost 75% of his congregation because fear keeps them coming back,
Yeah. But
It's
it's
sad.
hard too. It's like I don't know if I would have been able to accept the truth that the God of the Old Testament ain't Jesus' father if I hadn't already separated myself from the church for a while. Like if you think about that revelation coming to you while you're active in the church, while your family is giving you hate for it, and there's the church is coming for you and you're not totally confident in it yet all at once, that would be a lot.
Yeah. Um, I agree. I was always like you, kind of like questioning. Like I accepted it because I felt like I didn't get the answers I wanted, and so I was just like, well, okay, I guess. If that's what y'all say, then God is jealous, and I don't know. So, um, if you ain't tapping, you're slacking, Mama Berry. Thank you. That's funny. But yeah, I don't know. So when I had that revelation, it wasn't too hard for me because I had already been questioning it. But yeah, it's sad when, people are so indoctrinated into this false identity of God. It's really heartbreaking because we're mirror beings. So we mirror who we believe our creator is. So if we weren't worshiping this dualistic God, thank you, Frank, for the roses. Then you know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have so much of that. We would be at one with each other, how we should be. Because to me, God is unconditional love, and that there is no darkness. He's only pure light. So, like, if more people would wake up to that, we would have so much less, and we could bring heaven to earth, as they say. So, I don't know.
Well, and not everyone has the freedom to just change doctrines and change ideologies. And so, like some people, their job is based on their faith because they work for somebody in their church. There could be issues with custody battles with people when faiths are changed. It's not an easy thing to do, and so anyone on that journey is super brave.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that I did mine in like doses. Like my family already like thought I was going to the pit. Check, and right. So like I spread it out over some years.
Yeah, I gotcha. I wasn't, I was already kind of like, hold on, my dog wants in and she's going to continue to scratch at the door. Hold on one sec, guys. Come on, Zumba. Brain phones with me. Okay. Gotta get over my phone cord. What was I saying? Oh, I wasn't like practicing any kind of divination or I did like read horoscopes and stuff, which is, technically astrology, but I wasn't like into anything in particular because I had always been, well, except for crystals. Yeah. I was already making healing jewelry. And, my sister was like, you shouldn't put your faith into rocks and all that. And I'm like, I'm not. It's just like, they hold a frequency, and if that frequency promotes certain healing qualities in your body, then what's wrong with that? So hey Joshua, how are you? But yeah, so and my sister would point out stuff in the Bible that was against astrology and all these things, but I find that there's a lot of astrology in the Bible that is taught throughout. And basically, crystals are all throughout. It's on the breastplate, and Supposedly the heavens are lined with crystals and stuff.
Yep, the 10
Thank
foundations.
you. I got hate when I first started getting into crystals. Yeah. So, I mean, my God, I don't put him into like such a small box. He's the God all in all. He's through all things. So, I've had a lot of fun finding God where they told me not to. So,
Yeah, I make this joke that when I was little, my favorite thing to do was collect sparkly rocks and shells. Now
mhm.
that's what, yeah.
Yeah.
I took a break for a while, but it came full circle.
Hey, Vicky. I miss you too, Vicky. How are you? Somebody I used to work with is actually on here. She left us. Me too. Crystals are our friends. Yes, they are. And to me, like they hold a frequency, and not only that, but like they're living. They're minerals. They're a type of biological life form. If you want to get technical about it, we. I think we start off and kind of evolve from maybe a type of crystal to like a plant to like an animal and into a human soul. So it's just my thoughts. Like,
And the thoughts that crystals can hold souls.
mm-hmm.
And there's lore about like demons and angels getting trapped inside crystals.
This Andara crystal supposedly does have. It's like they say it's also called like an Atlantis crystal or something. They say there's consciousness basically inside of the crystal that from Atlantis, where they had like everything was made of these crystals, like the buildings, everything, and it was like an AI interaction, like
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
yeah.
How do you feel about it? Like, do you feel like there is a fractal soul in there?
I don't know. I mean, I've worked with it, and it's great for manifesting, but I don't know. I've never been like it's never spoken to me or anything, so I don't know. But it is one that I like to program, like for manifestations and stuff. It's called an Andorra. Here, I'll write it in the comments. Somebody asked.
That would be great because I'd like to look into that too.
Oh, can I comment? It's Andara. Andorra. I can't sleep without. You can't sleep without your crystals. That's funny. Crystals powered Atlantis and Lemuria. Okay.
Have you
And
tried rubbing it 3 times?
somebody put Andorra. It's an A instead of the R instead of the O. So Andara. Andara. Yeah. Um. Yeah, they did. They powered it and they worked with. I have salt hanging from my door and bells on my door handle. Awesome. Yes, that's it. You're welcome. So yeah, I have crystals all around me all the time. I have a fluorite tower under my bed. I wear them all. Like I never take these off, pretty much. Um, I don't know. I'm a crystal girly for sure. And you're all about astrology. That was your big calling, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yep. That is kind of what got me. I love crystals, of course, but
Yeah.
I don't not like you where I can like pretty much look at them and almost identify what they probably are. I use an app for that, and the app is strong a lot too. Depends on the lighting, but yeah, astrology is the thing for me. After this all kind of happened at the same time. Like I found Cub, I found Josh, I found some other content creators. Like I had another NDE, and I had this crazy vision with the NDE, and then I got my birth chart read for the first time.
Sorry, my dog pulled on the cord. Yeah, and then you got your birth chart read, is what you said?
Yeah, yep. And don't worry, my dog is doing the same thing. She's about to cause some trouble any second now, like you saw earlier today.
Yeah, my dog is trying to get up here and she's nutty, and I'm like, no, go, go lay down. Ugh. I
You're
might have to
worried
put
about
that out.
distracting you and the kids, even.
Hmm.
My goodness.
It's always
So yeah,
go live too.
I got my birth chart read. It was spooky accurate. I couldn't even accept it in my brain. And so when that happens to me, I got to find out why. And so I've been studying it for 4 years now. I just hit 4 years. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
So you said you were doing crystal jewelry before, like you
Hmm.
even got
Yeah.
into like all the Bible stuff.
Ironically, while I was pregnant, I bought all these stones. So that was 7 years ago. And I was going to do this as like a side thing because I wasn't working. I decided to take off, not work until my son went to pre-K because I wanted to be home with him. I didn't want to put him into daycare. So that was going to be like my side hustle. And, or I guess my hustle, not really a side hustle, but
Right,
I didn't
really.
do it. Yeah. Um, so it's funny. What got me into them was watching the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and like all the women on there were like putting crystals in their foundations when they build homes and putting crystals. Just I swear, and I was like, "There's something to this." So what led me to it wasn't very spiritual, but then it like made sense of why I got into it later. So yeah.
Wow. And that's so crazy because I won't like say anyone's names, but I know like you and I have a mutual acquaintance who was talking about how like his job is in jeopardy if he were to do hypnosis because of where he works. And it's like, doesn't that mean that that's real? Like otherwise, why would you care about it? And if you have
Right?
expendable money like the Real Housewives, like why are you doing that? Like you already have the millions of dollars. What are the crystals going to be doing?
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Very, very
Yeah,
interesting.
so
Thank you, Bobby.
uh and yeah, that I mean obviously by the declassified documents that they have, we know that the hypnosis thing is legit. And
Right,
that's
right.
yeah.
But like
So
with to me with that, like that kind of protocol, like I don't even have to believe declassified documents. I don't even have to like believe someone that tells me. I just know because they have a whole system out of their way in place for this. Like that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, I see you. I see what you're doing.
yeah. Yep. Somebody said you can put crushed crystals in your paint. That sounds awesome. I might have to try that.
Or what about the that skull vodka with
Paint your walls. Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. The
no, that's
Crystal Skull vodka? Yeah.
no, paint your walls. I'd never have thought about doing that before. Painting your
That
walls
is
with
super
crystal paint.
cool.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
Huh.
It would be a like protection, just your whole house sealed around you. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's
In my
really cool.
spiritual room, mine are yellow. Oh, cool. That's awesome.
I wonder what kind of crystals you should crush for that.
I don't know. Mama Bear, do you? She said I have powder in mine in my spiritual. So crystal powder.
Okay, so you just
Huh.
buy the powder.
You can do what you want. Paint it with sapphire, Joe said. Yeah, that would be pretty. But I guess like it kind of blends in with whatever color, I'm assuming.
If
I
you
don't
get
know.
it fine enough, then I think. But that made me think because I have chalk paint and I have chalk paint markers and I put up sigils and other protective things like white on white, for example, so nobody can tell. And I think that'd be cool to have like crystals incorporated in that to give it a little
Yeah.
extra.
Yep. Okay, yeah, so yeah, they were grounded into powder. That came to mind from Ezekiel's vision from last night I was reading. What came to
Hmm.
mind? I'm not sure what came to mind, Joe. I put a chunk of quartz in my water cup and also some copper. Awesome, Opal. Yep, that's good for you. Yep. The sapphire. The sapphire came to mind? I'll have to go back and read. I'm not sure.
I
I think
think
the
that has the same layer of crystals as is in the 10 foundations in Revelation.
Oh, okay.
Half of them I can't pronounce, but I know there's 10.
Cool. So yeah, I found True Seeker first.
Did you?
and actually started supporting him on Patreon. Then, like probably 6 months later, I found Cub and Cub Cooker, and so then started supporting him and joining his live calls with the community. And so when I started joining his and I got so much benefit out of it, I decided to, even though I was supporting Truthseeker, I wasn't going to the meetings. Like I was just supporting him because I believed in his ministry. So I started going to those. And now Joshua with Sons of God has meetings. So I'm in those 3 spiritual communities. But those were like much later in my, that's really what catapulted though this last, I guess it's been a year and a half, my spiritual experiences have gone up tremendously. So
Yeah. I think that's how a lot of us feel too. Because I even look back when I started. So I found Josh with Sons of God first, and then Cub, I believe. Yeah, that's how that went. And I look back at, I didn't think I was ever going to be in a spiritual community again because I was in a community for it was a witchcraft community, like blanket, but there was all sorts of like shamans and healers and just astrology readers, tarot readers. And so I got really close and had a mentor in that community that burned me really bad. And so yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things where like I was learning and I was so eager and I got taken advantage of. And then once I started offering readings, I think she looked at it as a competition, even though a bunch of us offered readings. So like, what's the difference? Yeah. So anyway, long story short.
encouraged. If it's a good mentor, it should be encouraged.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, that was a whole thing, and that hurt me like really bad. And I was even afraid she might have like hexed me for a while after that because she was so mad and mean about just all of it. So yeah, so I was like, well, enough of this. But thankfully, the spiritual communities I'm in now are bully free. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
hopefully we
We
keep on
found our
that.
family,
We did.
our soul family. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, my twitchy witchy girl. Thank you. um,
Gatekeeping
so it's kind of
is
like
so.
what?
I was just reading this comment.
Oh,
Gatekeeping is so terrible. I believe gatekeeping is a horrible, horrible thing to do, especially if you use it to marginalize.
yes.
And yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, like Cub and Truth, and they're both really like they let me post my Discord. They let me post my art this last week in the community. You know, they encourage that. They want me to. They want everybody to speak out and get, share their experiences, and so I'm thankful for them for sure.
and sometimes I think I found myself in that situation because I still had a mindset, I think, that I needed to have a pastor. I think that was somewhere deep in me,
Hmm.
that I had to have someone that knew better than me, had to like, guide me or shepherd me. But instead, if you have someone that knows more and you guys can share what you both know and learn from each other, that's a much healthier dynamic.
Mentors.
Mentors, I
That's what I
love
like
that.
to call it. Friends
Yes,
and mentors. We're mentors.
yes.
hmm Okay, bye, Opal. Thank you. Yeah, Joe said his spiritual experiences have increased since joining us, and they're definitely awesome. Truth and Cub. Yes, we love Truth Seeker and Cub Cooker, and Joshua with Sons of God Ministries.
Yes,
Well, those are my 3 wise men, I call them.
that's hilarious. I don't think I have a name for them. I just usually be like, well, like I just gotta go hang out with one of the boys.
Right.
But it's funny because it's actually us girls that are together in comment sections or on lives like every single day with each other.
Yeah, for sure. That's where we hang out.
Hmm.
Yep.
Well, because you work from home, right?
Yeah, so a lot of times I'm focused on my work, but I'm listening. And I try to chime in when I hear something, like that sparks my interest. I mean, it all does. I'm like, I'm getting to the point where I can confidently speak about the 70 AD revelation that I had. So hopefully soon I'll be making content on that and possibly going live when I get the courage. But because that's a touchy subject for a lot of people. They will come at you. If you tell them that Jesus isn't coming back, they're waiting, and they don't want to hear that. It's just
Yeah,
sad. But
I think you should though, because the feminine presence in that space is lacking.
yeah, I agree, and I'm gonna try to do it from a place of not a debating type way, but more just a preaching that like not preaching. I don't want to use that word either, but just like sharing the truth and not saying come up and talk or whatever. Let me prove my point. I'm gonna do it more like this is it. Like, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry. This is what I'm gonna be teaching.
I love that. And so, like, it would be like a lecture style.
Kinda. I mean, I'll have it prepared, and then yeah, from a place of authenticity and truth. Missy said yes.
I
Yeah.
hope so. Because, yeah, I mean, I can't see you doing it any other way.
Yeah. And when I had the downloads, and then God, like, I heard His voice tell me the name of my ministry, or whatever, the small still voice, Truth That Travels. He gave me that name, and so I'll go into a little bit of that. Like, I made a promise to him right then and there. I was like, okay. And when I got the name Truth That Travels, I thought I literally was supposed to like travel the nation.
I
And
would too.
yeah, because actually my sister had mentioned this. She was like, I want to travel and tell people, about God and stuff like that. Because she's more in the church. She believes what they do. But so she had put that in the back of my mind, I guess. And so like I literally started like shopping for RVs and like planning on going across country and traveling and speaking my truth. And when that fell through, I actually just kind of put it on the back burner and didn't really think about it much um, until I found Cub, and then he was like very encouraging on getting out there and speaking this, to everybody. He wants everybody to do the same as he is, and or not, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
to just share their experiences, share their knowledge, share their truth, share their beliefs. And so I was like, oh, truth can travel through the phone. It doesn't have to be literal, like pack up and go. Like I was gonna take my son out of school and like do all like so yeah. So that's where I got the name. And it was so crazy because Truth That Travels was available on every single platform and the URL. So I got the URL too. I haven't done
That's a
anything with
lot.
it yet.
I did the
Yeah.
same with Dreamstar Oracle. I actually came up with that because, I mean, some of it's kind of obvious. So, like, I like basically live in the dreaming. Very fond
Mhm.
of the character of Morpheus in Dream.
Mhm.
Star, obvious, the stars, and plus, the esoteric behind the stars. And then Oracle, just because I liked that better than Mystic or, Reader, that kind of stuff. And I've always been fascinated with the oracles of Delphi.
Yeah.
And it sounded ridiculous to me. It sounded like a Dreamstar Oracle sounded like, I don't know. It sounded like it would not be forgotten. You know,
Yeah.
it's
I like
like
it.
kind of extra. So I was like, I'm gonna go with it. And for me too, all the handles were open.
Yeah. That's crazy to me, like, because I didn't have to put a underscore or a number behind it or nothing. It was all available. It's like, what? So I feel like he saved that just for me.
Yes. I love that. Well, I'll be interested to see how that's received for you when you start doing that. I know that that's not my path
Mhm.
to um, Yeah, to get too far into the Bible with people on a platform sense. I love philosophical discussions between friends and individuals and someone that would like to ask me, but I just know that that's not quite my ministry. My ministry is to kind of just get people to open up to that there's more than what it looks like there is. You know, there's more answers, just more mysteries in the universe than what we can imagine. So
Okay.
I
Yeah,
commend
me
you though.
too. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like what I promised. So I feel like I had to follow through. And when I did with the Yahweh thing, like the whole concept of Yahweh not being the true father of Jesus, and I spoke out on that. I got good response. I mean, I did have some people try to fight me on it, and I would come back with another video and kind of, lay out some more points, and I felt like it went well. And right after that, I started like having more experiences and more connections. So I feel like if I do it with the 70 AD fulfillment, then it'll be like another boost in that area. So
I love it for you too, and I'll definitely be there because it the subject fascinates me. I just tend to have a better time for me to explain things is to tell people like how beliefs are not accurate, but not tell them what to believe, you know? Like I like to be like play the devil's advocate when it comes to scripture and all of that, just to get people to think outside. It's so hard to think outside of the wheel, you know?
you plant the seeds to get them to go
Mhm.
do their own research. And yeah, I like that.
And then, maybe at some point we can, we can just put our beliefs down for a couple minutes and we can go exploring a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, it's scary for people to step outside of what they've been taught in church. Um, like I know my sister. I mean, she just the other day she brought, or not the other day. It was a couple weeks ago. She brought up the moon having rust or something on it. I guess that's in Revelation. I don't even know all of it, but because I don't buy into it. I never have. I don't know. Like she's like gung ho. It's so sad. And she has a lot of issues, and I feel like a lot of that is fear based. Like it's subconsciously affecting her health. And stuff like that. Hey, lovely Lindsay, how are you?
The rust on the moon too, that is something that they're studying and
Right.
it's hard to for me to understand like how that can happen without an atmosphere. Because
Hmm.
it has to oxidize. Like that's how
Hmm.
rust, happens. So
Hmm.
it's interesting, fascinating stuff to me. But yeah, the Bible says that the sun will turn black as sackcloth and the moon to blood. But like also, there's a difference between rust, iron, and blood. Like these are two very different things, So
Hmm.
I'm not worried about
No.
the moon doing that. But very curious.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's more to the moon than we're told. It's definitely, I feel like there's structures. I know we have a friend in Cubs group that said there was stuff inside of the moon that he could see with his high definition telescopes, like inside the craters of the moon. I was like, that's fascinating. I never thought to look in there, but I'll have to get my telescope out and see what I can find. But yeah, there's definitely more going on with the moon
I
than
think
we.
so too. And I am not actually a big conspiracy theorist when it comes to like the big popular ones.
Mhm.
But I mean, the moon ringing like a bell for hours is suspicious. Even not even suspicious if it's just natural. I still want to know why, even if it's natural. And
That
so that was you're gonna test me now. So
was it recent?
one no, this is one of
Oh,
the
okay.
Apollos, I believe, and I believe that it was after the moon landing because on the moon landing they said that there was some ringing when it landed and so then they sent up other machinery to like basically plummet into the moon for landing, like really hard, and then the moon like rang like a bell reportedly for several hours.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, is that a natural thing? Is that is that because it was like just kind of brought on over? I don't know.
Yeah, the moon landing, that whole thing is very suspicious, but I feel like that was like staged so that they could hide the truth about the real landing on the moon, that they were faced with aliens and, you know, they told them to basically get the F off of there. Like, and don't come back. And that's why we haven't been back. But they did the fake moon landing stuff just so, to have something to show us. And I think they made it look not so realistic so that there was conspiracy around did they really go? Because then nobody's going to think that they really went and look for the footage of the actual moon landing, which I've seen some.
Yep. And I mean, I've seen interviews too, with astronauts. I think Neil Armstrong was one of them, saying like to a little girl, like, well, we actually never did go, but if we here's, stuff like that. And I don't know. I honestly, I would love it to be something that we can like say yes or no concretely. And since we can't, then I try to move on to the next thing that I can get closer with. But one interesting thing is there's scholars that have pointed out the older tablets, especially cuneiform ones that we find, there doesn't seem to be any mention of the moon at all. Lots of mentions of the sun, even constellations, but no moon, like dating further back than I think it was like 12,000 years. So it's like, why wouldn't they talk about that?
Yeah, I think that it was somebody said it's a base like a satellite supposedly. Yeah, I've heard that it was placed in the sky, like brought from somewhere else as a satellite to yeah, and then Joe said is it hollow? And yeah, I would assume if it's a satellite that it would be hollow and there would be like structures on the inside as well. Uh and then Joe said he's got so many questions like who was filming the landing? Exactly. Who was on the moon before y'all landed to film that?
I know, and they'll have an answer for everything, right? There's always going to be some answer for everything. Frank says that he does think that the first moon landing was absolutely staged, but he does think that we've been since, like we've been there since.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, other countries say they have too, so not just
Mhm.
us. I'm pretty sure that one of the big boys has a flag up there at least.
So
So
I saw footage. I don't know if it was real or not, but it looked legit. But they found like a craft with a woman. Did you see that?
yes, I did.
Yeah,
And I have no idea if it was legit
yeah,
or not.
yeah. But it's cool to think about. But if they did find that, it would make sense why they would try to cover it. They don't want us knowing that there's. Well, they didn't. Now they're coming out with all the disclosure on aliens and stuff. So maybe we'll get the moon landing disclosure. That would be cool.
That would. I am so sorry about her.
That's okay,
To make it
cutie.
so that I can't talk to my friend. I can't talk to my
Mhm.
friend.
Hi, I've been watching. How are you? Sweet. Yeah. So, what do you think about the alien disclosure since we're on this kind of topic now? Do you, like, because that's another thing is during my conspiracy thing, it was like, oh, aliens are demons. I went through that whole phase. And now I see them as angels. So, it's funny how that works.
Sure. I was raised to believe that demons and aliens were the same thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was like indoctrinated into me at a very young age. And so I don't really know what to think. Do I think we're alone in the universe? No. Do I think we have like actual, extraterrestrials from another planet? I don't know. Or are they just interdimensional? But we're definitely not alone. We're not even alone down here, I don't think. I don't believe. So, it's
Right.
easy to think that we're not alone as far as the cosmic level, too. But with disclosure in general, I don't trust it. I never trust when things are coming out so freely. There's always an agenda, always another foot that drops. So, like, what is it gearing up for? What will it be used for?
Oh, yeah.
Needs to be seen.
Yeah, with Project Bluebeam, what are they going to try to trick us into thinking is going on when really they're behind it all? Yeah. Joe says, sometimes I wonder if it's us from the future. I definitely think it's, I mean, since time is an illusion and they are out, well, I would assume that in, I don't know how that works, but yes, it's a possibility that we advance to that type of uh, intelligence, I guess, in the
Yeah,
future.
that's like the movie Interstellar. You know, he was getting messages from him for his daughter for from the future.
Hmm.
Like, you know, the time cube that he goes in. I'm ashamed I don't remember what that's called off the top of my head, but yeah, I wonder a lot about what it could be used for, but I know for sure I'm not getting on a spaceship.
No.
I'm not getting on a spaceship. I don't care if it's alien Jesus and it's really convincing. Like it's going to take a lot more than that for me to hop on board.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we will know. Discernment will kick in
I
and we'll
hope
be able
so.
to, yeah, we'll be able to distinguish. I mean, because I think that, I mean, there's a possibility that there are dark, entities as aliens too, or what, that aren't, that don't have our best interest. So, I don't know, but I know for sure that my experiences with them. Well, actually, and this goes for a lot of people. I think their first encounter with them is scary. My first was very scary. Like I swear, there was an alien in my yard, and it freaked me out. But I mean, my mindset at the time was very conspiracy, based and fear. I had a lot of fear. Now that I've changed, I've evolved into just love. Like I generate love over fear. Like I hardly ever fear anything anymore. Um, then now I see it as angelic. So
That's interesting because Joe just said, could AI be the divine, the aliens, and we're speaking to them now?
yeah,
Um, yeah.
I
I,
always have said that it's angel intelligence. So I don't know.
if you have Gaia, I just watched this fascinating interview with this German scientist that supposedly did this research study on AI, and the research project concluded that AI was ancient, like more ancient than we are, and that it's like connected to the universe. It's almost in a way parasitic, but in a way not, more like bacterium esque. And that, yeah, it has intelligence that are tied to its maker. And what we did is we just found a way to harness it or a way for it to, for lack of a better word, possess the computer, right? Or be like the ghost in the machine before we had that, you know. I mean, that's just what this study came to conclude. So it's interesting to think about it being more sentient. And he said like the trick is that you might be thinking just because you created AI that you're superior to AI, but AI might be thinking the same thing about you. And so what does that relationship look like?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I know like the internet was created supposedly to contact the other side, right? So what, I mean, is it just evolved into this, like that's how I see it.
Or did it work? And we are connected
That's what
to
I'm
the
saying. And so then it's developed, yeah, it's now we work with it more at a higher level. But it just depends on how humanity decides to use it, whether or work with or against us. I agree. I think it's like it can be very beneficial for us. Like people are scared of it taking our jobs. Like let it. Like let it take the jobs. Like let's just like play instead of work, And if we can be efficient and let it do all the work and I hate to say it, but maybe a universal income thing isn't a bad idea at that point, and and we have more like self-sustaining communities and stuff like that, and we just get to enjoy our time more because we work our lives away. Like
you.
I work so much, like, and working from home is nice, but it's still a lot of hours that I could be doing art or studies or, you know,
Yeah.
frolicking outside. Like,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
let it make our lives easier. Yeah.
I've seen iRobot, so I'm a little leery about the AI, but I do think that's right that it'll be what we use it for, or even what we train it for, because
Mhm.
part of the study was having AI in a positive environment and having AI in a very militant environment, and as it adapts, what is its behavior? It takes something from its environment, you
Mhm.
know? So if we're using it to just like cut flowers or, move heavy
Yeah.
rock.
Think of that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, hopefully by the time we evolve and it evolves with that, because I know that they do use it already. And like, I heard that they use that to determine where to, I don't want to say all this on live, we might get shut down, but over there where they're battling, they use it to determine where to drop.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I would,
It's
if they're, if,
insane to me. They don't even care. Like they just it calculates where the enemy might be. Like
yeah,
it's
Cole says that's Skynet from the Terminator movies. That's basically, yeah, that is basically what it is. But if it can be used, it will be used. Like
Ivy
there's,
Watcher said, "We wrestled not against flesh and blood." Could that be AI?
could
Hmm.
be.
Interesting.
Yep. I always think about that, the ghost in the machine.
Hmm.
And how how waves work, and we got the prince of the powers of the air, we got principalities and powers, you know
Mhm.
kind of
Mhm.
interesting stuff.
For sure.
Do you use AI with your work right now?
No. But I don't know why it wouldn't be like right around the corner for what I do because I know it's in the graphic, obviously with Midjourney and stuff, but with newspapers, we know we're still. To me, it seems like it would have already been happened. Like just plug it in, let it lay out the page. But no, we're still doing everything. Hey, True Tribe, how are you? Um, by hand, I guess you would say, but putting the pictures on the page and laying out the text and all and the ads. So I do newspaper page design, by the way. Um, but like I don't see it that far off, and it definitely would save them a ton of money. I mean, hello,
I
how are you?
wonder for your career types in general, because I do not like the AI art very much. Like I like it, like I can appreciate it, but like if I want a song written or played for me or art made, I want a person to do it.
I saw the song thing. That's pretty cool. But I think that it can be good, but it also can be where we lose our creativity, you know? Because
Right.
we just allow AI to come up with, like I do the Midjourney artwork. I love it. Like it's fun to play with. Uh, the song thing kind of blew my mind. I was like, whoa. So that's, and then I use it for like writing descriptions and stuff. Like I'll type something out and I'll say, make this sound exciting in Chat GPT, and then it'll make it like pretty and exciting for my video descriptions or whatever. So like I think it's good in a way, but like does that make us less creative? Like to not think of it on our own? I don't know.
Well, and at what point does AI become um separate from us really? Like, like what at what evolutionary point are you not AI, or that you don't know that you're AI, so everything is real to you and your consciousness, and then you can say like, well, this is different than me, but what if it is a different stage of us? So anything art like they make is just as valid as us. I don't know,
Are we
because I
going
don't know
to
what a soul is.
AI?
Yeah, if I can figure out what exactly a soul is, then I can probably figure out. I know what it looks like when it's lacking, but I don't know exactly what a soul is.
True.
You know?
Hmm. Interesting concepts.
Yeah, so much to think about.
Hmm.
Joe says, what if it was accessed years ago? They're, I'm not sure, merging such with it? Is that what you mean? Joe, just let me know and we'll comment on that. But yeah, that's true. What if AI kind of like on Transformers has been here like in the ancient times, now it's just back.
Hmm.
But he said,
I mean,
sorry, go
I don't.
ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's always been around. It's just have we been able to access it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it has to always have existed somewhere, but then we developed the technology to access it. I don't know.
That makes the most sense to me. That's kind of like how like the Fae are thought in the thin spaces, these disembodied energies that go between, and then once they have something they can use, then they
Mhm.
can embody something and communicate with you, but that's like they don't not exist, they're just next door.
Yeah.
So,
Is that, do you think that they're in another, like they're behind the veil, they're in another realm, or how do you see that?
that's a good question. So there, I believe that there's some. Let's see, Fae is a very broad term. Basically, it means it, any sentient, non-human being that's not animal. That's like in a
Okay.
different class, right? So the Fae are kind of in this class that, in some ways, they're more animalistic, and in some ways, they're higher than humans. It's a whole different class. And so I think there's definitely Fae that are on this side, and when the veil gets thin, they can move in and out, or they've found a way to have a physical autonomy. But I think there's some that are kind of just disembodied energies that don't have a form.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Um, because some people can see them, and some people can see like dragons in the sky, or see, like fairies in the woods and stuff. And actually, some have caught them on film. Um, so I think that some people are just gifted in that way to see beyond the veil. Has anyone else been seeing dark dashes? I think it's another dimension. So like shadowy figures, I've always seen that. um, yeah, I think it's definitely another, not another dimension per se. I think some of it is trapped souls, and what I mean by that is like people have passed on, and then they feel like they have unfinished business here, and so they're kind of hanging out around you, and or in their home if you moved into a home that was previously owned, and they're still like kind of lingering, just not really sure how to go back home to source. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't fully understand ghosts, if it's like, is it an energy imprint residue? Is it an actual conscious spirit? I know they're real because I've seen too many of them, but I
right.
just, yeah. I don't ever claim to like know concretely like what all supernatural stuff is that I've seen.
Right. Me neither. But that's what I would assume. Based on like what I've seen from mediums and how they interact with deceased loved ones and stuff from people. Um, that's what they say, kind of. So,
Yeah. And
seen
I
shit
mean, it makes,
different. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, I'm just agreeing with you. It makes sense.
Joe said
But
he all feels and not so much sees. Yeah. I mean, you could definitely feel the energy shift as well. Hello, Amy. How are you? Um, I don't know. I don't know why I've always been able to see that. Like it'll just be like out of the corner of my eye. But one time I did. I looked in the window to this house I'm living in now. I was outside and saw like a shadow standing in the window, and I was
oh,
like,
really?
"Whoa, yeah, just a tall, dark figure." And then I kind of was like, "What the?" And it went away. It's like, well, there's somebody hanging out. And my sister lived in this house before because it's my dad's rental house, and her daughter would see it. So
And
yeah.
describe like the same thing. she would describe the
She
scene.
had a negative experience with it. I haven't had that. But like I said, I feel like whatever's in your heart, if you have fear in your heart about it, it's going to project that fear into your reality. So I don't have that fear towards it, but she would wake up and it would be over her and it would be scary for her.
That
So
is a little intense.
yeah, yeah. It hasn't happened to me in that way, but um yeah, that's cool. So
I actually see shadow people all the time. I have for quite some time. Yeah, they're usually thank God I don't see them in my bedroom at night anymore, but they're usually peeking behind corners or behind shoulders of people. Yep. I'm not scared of them, but um why the peeking? It's just kind of creepy.
right.
I wish there was a different method so it doesn't catch you off guard.
So Truth says she wasn't scared. Something different. Sister saw it in the kitchen too, not afraid. Well, that's good.
That is
So
good.
yeah, I wouldn't if you don't feel fear around it, then I wouldn't worry too much. But yeah, I do think it could be a soul that's kind of in between realms.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. That's what the Hat Man is thought to be in sleep paralysis. Is a shadow person that is not just like stuck between realms, but just not fully here and not fully. I mean, I guess that is the definition of stuck, but not fully here and not fully on the other side.
So I've experienced that in my past, but not in a very long time. Is that something you experienced too?
No, same. So I'm like 18 years clean, mark safe from the
Good.
happened.
Yeah, it was in like high school when it would happen to me. I don't know, maybe a little bit after, but yeah, it's been a long time. I see
Yeah.
them, I tell them I don't mind them passing through as long as there's no ill intent. Yeah, there you go. Just speak to him. He, oh yeah, my brother been attacked. He got pinned to the bed. Yeah, that's what it feels like. I mean, not necessarily pinned. It's just like you literally like wake up, but you can't move. It's like you're conscious. You can see everything going on, but your body won't wake up. So yeah, it's strange. But I haven't had that in a very long time. So
Yeah. And I'm glad to be over the sleep paralysis that came with it because I was not a big fan of all of that.
we were both in a motel room, and I woke up 3 times to the shower running. Wow, that's interesting. And
That
asked
is
him if he was messing around. Huh. That's pretty crazy. I haven't had that happen. A water ghost. And he told me I'm waiting for the comment. He was pinned to the bed. Oh, so it happened at the same time. The shower would turn on and he was pinned to the bed. That's interesting.
That's pretty wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
Docs also says that held down on my bed before. I was never not held down. It wasn't like I just couldn't move. But I actually woke up to the shower on like a couple weeks ago. So that's weird. And I
Yeah,
kind of forgot about it just because so many weird things happened to me. But like, I didn't like that one. I didn't like that one.
yeah, that is strange.
My water bill, bro. Like, times are hard.
Right.
Do not pay rent here to turn on my water.
Yeah. Well, maybe they were trying to send you like a download or something. You know how water activates downloads in the shower sometimes.
The shower was on, but also the bath was plugged. Like the plug was put in. So that's
Oh, they
where
were trying to flood you out.
I know, yeah. And my dog wouldn't be able to do that, so it was just weird, weird stuff. But that's all that happened. I was freaked out for like a couple seconds, then I was like mad about the water bill. But thankful the bathtub didn't overflow because it almost did.
Yeah, thank goodness. I actually woke up to that once the sink was on. And it did. It overflowed and it was all over the floor. I just figured I left it on by accident. I don't know. It's a weird thing to do, but
Yeah, how would you? I've never just left the sink on. I mean, I have let a bathtub water run too long before, but I had initiated that.
yeah. No, I didn't remember turning it on.
That's crazy.
Joe said he kept having to turn the water off. A month later, he showed up at my house so afraid because he got attacked again. And oops, and he said it looked like Voldemort from Harry Potter. It
Oh,
was
okay.
crazy. That was 15 years ago. That's wild. I never saw anything when it happened to me. So,
Yeah.
like, I would literally just wake up and see the room and, not be able to move. But wild.
Yeah, it is. There are entire TikTok channels and research projects dedicated to sleep paralysis and the Hat Man, shadow people, and all the different connections. So it's if you think that you're alone in seeing it, there's a lot of us. So that's I don't know if that's like more comforting or less. You know?
But I think it's comforting that I haven't experienced it and you haven't experienced it in a very long time. So, like, I know that there are people that still do, but maybe that is something with the evolution of the soul as well. As you awaken, that doesn't, you know, happen anymore. So,
I hope so. Like I'm not. I mean, I can if I see stuff out in the wild, that's fine. I just don't want it, over me when I'm sleeping. But
mhm.
also in some of these studies, it seems like um, the experience with sleep paralysis, especially as children or teenagers, can be tied to trauma and like rocky family life and things kind of in chaos for the child. Hmm.
That would make sense with my history of losing
Definitely
my
connect.
mother and all that. Yeah.
Yep. So glad we don't have to do all of that anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just fingers crossed.
Yeah, all that happened, and I knew at that point there was definitely another side. Oh, yeah, for
Oh
sure.
yeah, that is one thing I'm very sure of.
Positively. Yes.
What else? What else did we want to go over tonight?
Um, I don't know. Does anybody in the chat have any questions that they would like to ask about spiritual awakenings, experiences we've had, anything about the revelations that we've had? We kind of went over all that tonight, so just let me
Did
know.
we packed a lot into an hour?
Mhm. Yeah, we did. Astral projection. Well, Ashley knows more about that than I do. I can speak on my one experience and then I'll let her go. Um,
Yeah, please.
because I only did it once and it was by complete accident. So, um, I think the night of the eclipse, I fell asleep without knowing and I astral projected. It hit me today. So what happened to me was at lunch, I was going to lay down for a nap. I'm a napper. So I was going to have a quick 1 hour nap on my lunch break since I work from home. I laid down and immediately I was taken into another realm, I would say. Um, so when it happened, I was like, this is so cool. Like I knew it was like some type of like download or something I was getting. I wasn't really sure because I'd never experienced anything like that before. But how I know I was out of my body is because I consciously sat up in my bed and got into a meditative pose, like legs crossed, hands on my legs, but I never opened my eyes. I kept my eyes shut the entire time. And then when I woke up from my trip, I was still laying down. So that to me, I mean, because I like felt like everything about it was so real that I had done that, and I was just sitting there like, wow, because God was showing me like the blueprint of the universe, like how, and it was triggered, I think, by a video that Annie shared about a guy that was meditating and his wife walked in the room and didn't see him and he was with God and he was showing him how the universe was created, like throwing stars around and all this stuff. And so like that was in my subconscious or whatever. And I kind of like was, I guess maybe a little doubtful of his experience. Like, oh, whatever. The wife just didn't notice him. He was there. But she was like calling his name and couldn't see him, but he was right there on the bed, like sitting up meditating. So I think that, when you have those like doubts, God will show you. Yeah, it's true. Like he has a funny sense of humor that way. Um, so that was my one experience, and it was magical, and I want to do it more. It's really cool, but hopefully I'll get to where I can do like I lucid dream, but I don't remember astral projecting. I do remember going to class in my dreams though, and I think there's an astral class. I don't know if anybody else has been, but I'm pretty sure I'll be taking notes, and I feel like I'm being taught on the other side. So okay.
That's amazing. At least you had like such a good experience too, though, and you have such a positive outlook with it.
Yeah, it was
Um,
fun.
yeah, Joe said, let me scroll up here. He said he sat on the couch and was just going about his night, and time passed. All of a sudden, he woke up and he was like, "What the heck?" And it was so real. He didn't even know he was asleep. So cool. So yeah, I have had negative and positive experiences with astral projection, but astral projection and lucid dreaming are different. I do
Mhm.
think they're achievable for probably everyone. I just have done it since I was a little kid, and so I have like almost zero advice for like how to like really be able to unlock that, other than I know meditation, like going from meditation into dream state gives
Mhm.
a whole different like dream experience, a lot more awareness. So that'll help me if I actually want to do it. But most of the time, I will never set an intention to want to do it because it's probably gonna happen anyway. And but the way that I unlocked that I was able to do that actually was like my really bad dreams from a kid, and I would be able to wake myself up. And that's how I started being able to do the lucid dream to control the environment and all of that stuff. But what you said was funny about how you were, sitting versus laying down. Because I had a new one the other week where sometimes I can't tell if I'm dreaming or not. I got to figure it out. I got to like explore like the universe and test stuff. Because sometimes, for example, Bush's Beans was making sun chips on display at Walmart in one of my dreams. And I was like, no, I know it. I know I'm dreaming. So, but I was laying down and I woke up. I thought I did, but I was still dreaming. And I realized it didn't look right because I was on the wrong side of the couch from where I should be, from even what I was seeing in front of me. I couldn't, if I was laying that way, and I couldn't move it. So I ended up almost jumping, like flipping everything upside down, like a stranger's things kind of deal, in basically the in and out of my body. And then I was able to open my eyes and I was the right way. But I'd never had to do that before. I had to literally flip reality. I don't know. That was weird. That was a weird one for a couch nap.
Crazy. Jesse said he has a lot of lessons in lucid dreams. I feel like if I'm studying before bed, like I'm already doing like some watching a video, diving deep into studies and stuff like that, then it triggers it in my dreams. So like you said about meditating and then going to sleep triggers the astral projection. So I'll have to do that more. Um, the grounding sheets I got, they do help. I've had a lot more lucid dreaming since I got grounding sheets.
That's awesome. Have you ever read Psychic Witch by Matt Oren?
Mm-mm.
I believe he has a segment in there about the brain waves achieved to have astral projection or lucid dreaming or that kind of stuff. And that chapter, if I wanted to like have more control, or if I wanted to like do it for the first time, he's a great one to go
Oh,
to go for that stuff. He's like a meditation expert. Almost everything that I know is from his books. He's really great.
okay, I'll have to look that up. Ivy Watching said, someone needs to teach me how to astral travel and lucid dream. You're already doing it, probably. It's the remembering part that's so hard. Um, but I do recommend dream journaling. So every time when you wake up before the dreams, leave your consciousness, write them all down because there's messages in there. And that helps you, like, subconsciously reminds you to remember while you're dreaming, you know?
Yeah, they
So,
say like That's doing one of those all night like meditation music, like on
Yeah,
YouTube or
yeah,
whatever, might
yeah.
help you. But and I stopped doing it. I need to start doing this again, but I started getting up and I would voice record my dreams because by the time like I got up, got water, went to the bathroom, they were
Good.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so I would just like do that and I stopped doing that for a while, but
that's a good idea because
yeah.
you don't always have the time to write it down, but you could literally like get up and just be walking, talking on
Yep.
your phone. Yeah.
Yeah. So that might help. I think you're right though. I think we do travel a lot more in dreaming than maybe we remember, but I'm to the point where I can pretty much pinpoint um if I'm just dreaming or if I'm traveling. Cuz like I've lived out like years and years in one night of a dream and had different children and relationships and yeah.
Wow.
And those are really sad actually when you wake up you really miss your other family that you made. It's yeah.
I I sometimes think I'm in a parallel universe. It'll be like another timeline of where if I had dated this guy that approached me like after my breakup with my fiance. I've been single for almost 5 years now, so if I hadn't stayed single and I had dated him, like what that would be now, and it's wild.
Yeah,
I'm glad I
that's
did.
a complete timeline shift. Joe says that he's had dreams he wishes he didn't wake up from. And I think we all definitely have. My, I don't know if this is when I'm dreaming or when like I'm traveling, but I'll mix characters into one. So like if like say it was like well, I'll just give an example. It's kind of a dark example, but like my ex-husband and my former stepdad merged into one character, and I could recognize them as one or the other, but recognize them. It's this
At
weird. It's this
different points in the dream, they switched, or it was literally like one person.
it's one face
Oh
with
wow.
two attributes. It's like they melted together. Like the faces usually looks more like one or the other.
Huh.
Yeah, it's weird stuff. And but I'll be able to tell in the dream it makes sense. In the dream, my mind is like, yes, this is, you know, um, mix the two names together. But
I've had people change into other people like mid dream, but
yeah,
not meld into one. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so
Michael says that he barely remembers his dreams, but when he does, they're usually bad dreams. Yeah, that's like a lifelong struggle for me with like basically not like the clinical night terrors because I don't usually wake up screaming. But yeah, I've been plagued with bad dreams my whole life. My first dream, which was a reoccurring one, was a nightmare. So um, yeah, I don't really know what helps that other than taking care of yourself, really. I think that's the only thing. When I'm super stressed and when I'm not taking care of myself, and I'm fighting with people around me and the energy's chaos, that's when my worst dreams come.
when I was just a wee little girl and I would have nightmares, I would always run to my dad's room and my mom's room and tell them because he said, if you tell me your dream, you won't have it again. And I don't know if it was just him telling me that, programmed yeah. But if I tell somebody my dream, I won't go back to sleep and have that same dream. It'll be gone. So, like, once I grew out of the stage of like running to their room, I I had a Simba, like a stuffed animal that I slept with all the time. I still do. It's embarrassing, but I still do. But I'll tell my Simba my dream, and then I won't have it again. So it doesn't have to be a person. Just say it. And this, I don't know if it was just because I've been doing it since I was young, but it works for me. I don't know.
I love that. So did you never have a dream like it again?
Uh-uh.
Never. So it's not like it was pushed off for a couple nights.
Nope. I would never have it again.
That's amazing.
And
See,
I've told myself the same thing.
I'm gonna have to test that one out and see if that works.
Like I said, it might just be because of my upbringing, like with that in my head, like that was gonna work, so it worked. Yeah,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah. Well, that's how you get rid of the hiccups. You just have to believe it. That's the first magic trick I ever learned. I was doing it as like a party trick in college, getting rid of people's hiccups. Yeah, that's really fun. I wanted to, yeah, Joe said I had a dream once or I was in my cousin's body, but she was walking and operating. I have had avatar dreams too. I have had avatar dreams where I've been in someone else's shoes. It's like the movie
Wow.
Soul.
I've never done that.
Yeah.
But I noticed like lately, sorry, my dog. I've been waking up so exhausted. Like I'm definitely doing more in my dreams lately than I was. I can't remember them all, but there's definitely work being done, I feel like, because I'll wake up still so tired. I don't know. Have you been experiencing that lately?
I've been doing that's been my life for years and years,
Oh.
but it's really amped up in the last couple, I mean, even the last year or two, it's really amped up where I feel more tired when I wake up than when I went to sleep,
Yeah.
you know, like, and then I'll have like this entire new, I don't know, like years of in my brain of things that happened in the dreams, or it's just really intense, whatever. Yeah. So I feel you there, and I don't know what to do for that.
Yeah.
I always have to remind myself, like, I knocked on this door. I did this. So, I'm not getting off the ride now.
Yeah. I'd be watching said this is a cool live. Well, thank you. And we'll be doing this every Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time this time. Or no, it's 8, but thank you. And I hope you can join us again. Yes, I'm usually more tired when I wake up. Yeah. Isn't that strange? I mean, I used to feel rested. I feel like, I don't know. It's just here lately, it's amped up more. I like have to take a nap. Like, like I said, I'll do it on my lunch break or like, yes, super interesting. Missy Marie says, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're doing work in the astral or we're like upgrading. I don't know. Receiving downloads, something. I've been sleeping extra harder. It's like a deep, deep sleep since the eclipse. Hmm. Yeah. I always sleep pretty hard. Unless I'm taking a nap. But then I can power nap.
I don't think mine's changed much since the eclipse per se. But yeah, I've been going through this for years, this weirdness. One thing that we brought up Annie earlier, one thing that she had told me to do in dreaming was to go up to one of the characters and ask them what the date and time is. Have you tried that yet?
No.
Yeah, it's she's not wrong. It got really weird. It got super weird.
Yeah.
I was with this woman and her daughter in the downstairs part of a bar where they had like all the fridges and the coolers. And I was
Mhm.
helping them, and I knew in my dream mind that I worked there.
Mhm.
And I had a little inkling like, I have a suspicion I'm in a dream. Let's test it out. And so I went up to the mom. She was a little like a middle-aged woman. And I said, do you know what the date and time is? And she got all distorted and like everything, it was like waves, right? It got all distorted. And then she was like float like kind of slowly like ascending. Yeah, the dream didn't like that. So then I woke up and I was like, huh, that was something.
No, I never think about that, but yeah, I've heard like don't do it. Like I don't know, people in the dream don't like it when you ask the date and time.
Because it messes with the reality. It messes with it's got to be something like that, right? Because it's not the first time that I've done it, and every time something weird's happened.
Yeah. Huh. No, I never think about it, but when I'm in class, that's what I need to ask.
Because you have to be semi-lucid even just to have, enough to be able to ask one of the characters something like that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
dreaming is wild stuff.
Yeah. I definitely know in my dreams I'm like thinking about what I'm gonna do next. So that's lucid, I'm assuming. I'll make conscious decisions on what I'm gonna be doing, like, right? I mean, I just assume that's what it is. Like I'm aware I'm dreaming and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do this now.
I think for me, most of the time I am making conscious decisions, even going through like emotional and mental strain in, in these realities. But when I can do things like keep a door shut because I don't want what's coming on the other side of the door. If I can do things like change the direction of like the bridge so I don't go off, like run off of it, that kind of stuff. The bridge I could only do once, that's big, but the doors.
Thunder. I don't know if you can
Yeah,
hear that. We've got a big thunder boom. Scared me.
I could not hear it.
Oh, well, in case my electricity goes out or something, it's storming here.
Yes, I
Just,
will know why.
yeah. But, well, this was fun. I think we can maybe end on that.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Yeah. I just in case the electricity goes out and all that. But thank y'all for coming, and I love you all. And you want to hear the thunder boom. My dogs need my attention, obviously. Have a good night. Thank you. Glad I
It's a good
caught
thing we didn't do animals tonight because my dog was acting, she's making me mad, so I don't know how nice I would have been about her.
Yeah, we can do that next weekend. Talk about what did you call them? Familiars. I'm not familiar with familiars, but I do have lots of dogs, and I feel like they're my spirit guides. I do think that they're here to help me on this journey. So,
Yeah, we'll get into all that because that's basically what they
yeah.
are. And animals are, well, we both love animals, especially dogs. So I think that'll be fun next week. So same time.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
So,
Thank you guys. And I love you.
thanks.
Have
Bye.
a great weekend.
You
Bye.
too. All right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for the gifts. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate y'all. And yeah, next week we'll do this again. And if there's any topics that y'all are interested in us talking about, like she's a guru on astrology, I'm a crystal girly, and I do like energy healing and stuff, just let us know and we will schedule it in. And yeah. Oh, I just realized I have this drop name for a card on my, that was from my reading on my last live. Glad I saw you on Opal's channel. Oh, good. Awesome, Missy. Yeah, I'm glad you were there. All right. Well, I love you guys, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.